All right, we have a lovely countdown. Just a quick question in between for the doors, because we're gonna talk about a lot of doors today, and I was getting some stuff ready to go. So, we have north, east, and west door, correct?
No, actually a east, north, and south door.
East, north, and south. Ah, all right. Well, doesn't matter that much. It just means that our compass is slightly turned. And let me see. So we have north, and then east and south, right?
Yes.
East, and to get the best shot of this, if we are going to, smash everything together. South. All right. So who's to the north? Is that Bane?
The north is Bhaal. So if you're walking into the room, you.
And the east door, is that Bane or is that Merkel?
Yes, that's Bane.
Bane.
And the south is Merkel.
Oh, we got south being Merkel. Oh, already had that correct. Because it just made a reference point. I'll see how things would look like. Of course, I'm probably going to go for more of a front view for all of the doors, but for starters, for when we start at 8 a.m., just a little bit of a surprise. Something quick I set up based on some perspective.
Nice. Now I'm curious.
Aha, good. Also, welcome for the people who have just joined us. We're about to get started. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them into our chat.
Yes, because we're going to talk about some very interesting topics. We're going to talk into lore as well. And if things get confusing, or if you don't know something,
or if you think you might know it better, also comment.
Yes, we also still learning, so we love the information.
Yeah, sometimes we learn, and sometimes we learn even more by things that we had no clue about its existence. Amazing. I could bugger on about all the things I don't know about Dungeons and Dragons. It's an entire subject on its own.
Yes, and there is so much.
Indeed. Anywho, it is a wee bit warm today, a wee bit lot warm. So that is a bit of a chance we may end the stream early because of it.
Yes, we don't want to melt away in our rooms.
I already feel like a terrible snowman, just melting away at the attic. Oof. Well, Western
with snowman. With snowman and melting out, immediately my mind goes to Olaf from Frozen.
Yep. Poor Olaf. Bye, Olaf.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, a little less than a minute left on our timer, so... yeah. Be sure to stay hydrated, grab your drinks, and your snacks if you're gonna go snack. That's a thing too. And get ready! Alright. I feel like my chair is really having a rough time right now because of the weather and it's being extra squeaky. It's like... and go! Boom! There we are. So this was I was kind of referencing toward having the three-way gateway as in the doors from a bit of perspective. I did look at a drawing online and a bit as a sort of hotel hallway, and I thought to myself, that that could be useful. It's a nice perspective. You'd have to alter a couple of things, but just for the basics. And to have our viewers to get more of an understanding, like, oh hey, there's a 3 waypoint. Now a reminder that the north is all the way over here and not just over there, the usual. So we did turn it around a bit. And I am going to check on our guest star because I am not hearing you. Hey, RedOneArt.
Yes, I'm still here. Sorry.
Oh, you're still here? You just got real quiet.
Yes, I was listening to you.
Oof. Alright, so yeah, that's the whole gimmick, the whole giveaway. It's north, east and south, and we have the doors of Bhaal, Bane and Merkel. Bhaal, the Lord of Murder, Bane, and the Lord of Darkness, and Merkel, the Lord of Bones. I would say something very nasty, but it's not appropriate, even though I did think I selected the 18+ mode on Twitch, but I'm trying to keep it a little bit more folk friendly.
Yes. Yeah. We're going into a very interesting room, especially if after we are done with creating the dolls itself. It is really interesting. It's not interesting because like something is in there, because the room itself is empty, but the dolls are full figure depictions of the dead tree. Or at least that's what it says. We're gonna do maybe a little bit different as we want to, but
we do what we want. Wow.
Yes. Still making it useful for the
of course, we're not
for the
gonna
campaign.
go, yeah.
But yes, maybe there's some little adjustment. If there's something is not mentioned in it, we definitely go our own way. So one of the first things that we talked about that was not mentioned is like the material of the doll.
Free reign.
Yes, which is nice because then we can think about really, really nice stuff. It does say in the beginning of the dungeon that regular doors are made of the soft, rotten wood.
Yeah, that's why they ruined themselves. Regular!
Those are definitely not regular doors.
No.
It's how, at least as I see it, there are like dedications to the gods.
It just pops into my mind, sorry for the interruption. How awesome would it be if per door we had like different material?
Oh, that
I'm gonna write it down.
Really
I need the
nice.
information.
Yes.
Ah. sorry. Just continue your story.
Oh no, I think that's actually really nice. And maybe I don't know if you get it. Like we have, of course, we have Bhaal, the god of murder, Merkel, bones. Actually, I think Merkel would be at most. Yeah, indeed. Most easiest way to think of a material. Bhaal, yeah. Oh yeah, because of our story of the yeah, of course we're gonna do gold.
Yeah, but also some people stuck in there. As in gold poured over the poor victims. I mean, he's the god of murder, or the deity of murder. I mean, murder.
Yes. Yeah, for the ones who don't understand our gold immediately, a few streams back we did a follower of Bhaal and we talked about that, and we came up by the idea because there's not very much known about, at least in the 5th edition, maybe in other editions, but in the 5th edition there's not a lot known about the cultists, like how they dress, how their whole behavior and stuff. So we came up with some ideas, especially the one how they actually get into the rank of the cult, and it was by like actually murdering someone and pouring like liquid gold over the face and use that as their mask, as their symbol that they are literally into the cult. So yeah, that was gold.
Yeah, we have very gruesome, lovely ideas that we like to come up with and debate while we're doing a thing. Like, oh hey, we have some room or space to interpret things. Oh, the cruelty. For
Bane, I think we are going for something black, as he is also called the Black Hand, the dark of like the Lord of Darkness, like something at least going into the like dark spectrum.
side.
Yes.
Yeah. I would also say something dark-sided, but also kind of hyped to work with some stone. But here I was also thinking about a rotten wood that you find everywhere. Like, oh, that's pretty dark.
Ooh, yeah, you have like wood materials that are from itself already like really dark.
Yeah, and it's like you remember the magic shop I set up for one of my campaigns, Shades and Shadows, and they were selling Nefer wilting flower crowns and stuff like that. Yes. Or maybe it's a Nefer wilting rotten wooden door. It doesn't rot furthermore. It's just in this particular state, and it's enhanced by magic or preserved by magic.
I like that. I think it's
just jamming in the ideas here.
Yeah, I think it's in it also depicts like the image of Bane. Because for the ones who don't, we are choosing Bane today to continue. Yes. And he is next to being the Lord of Darkness, he's also the god of tyranny. And he's always, if he's going like on his depiction side, he always wears nice clothing, either like the very nobility clothing or armor that really depicts that he is from like nice status, like a knight or anything. And I think his door would reflect. I don't think it would be rotten. Indeed, it would be like enhanced with something.
Oh, the fancy pants edition.
Yes,
it's like the royal, the nobility, the I am the higher up sort of thing, or I am someone who enjoys life.
Yes, I think so. I don't know if he's like doing it to indeed depict that, but yeah.
It could be. It's like of the three, I do see him as being the most, cheery one. I don't know why. Even though he has his entire department is darkness, for some wicked reason, I imagine him to be the most cheery bloke out of the three of them, the most happy one, the happy chap, and then the other two bickering like, you're supposed to be darkness. Why aren't you unhappy?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think maybe that, but he
and
he also has...
was she the goddess of luck or life? What was it again? Shantae.
Shantae is the one of agriculture.
Agriculture. Ooh, do you have what's the name of the? Good evening. What's the name of the goddess or god of nature, of life? I kind of forgot. In D&D.
I think
there is one.
Was like... Yes. It's
Yeah, sorry for the tacky questions.
Oh, names.
Names. Anywho, I imagine that person to be depressed as F. As oops, I'm sorry.
Like the...
God, my word. To be that one, to be the one who's severely depressed, unhappy, and then you have the Lord of Darkness. La 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 la. I'm so happy.
Yeah, and actually I can see that form because he's next to like the darkness, also tyranny. Yeah. He's sitting on the throne. He's controlling everything. He's like
in control of everything. It's like, oh, that man has nothing to lose. He's the completely happy chat, like happy. And then the one who's representing nature and all living matter being depressed because there's nothing they can control. Everything dies at one point. Yeah, they bring life, but it's also like, I gotta say goodbye to that life. I don't want to. And all the cruelty and everything that they have to deal with and don't agree with. So I imagine them to be depressed.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and Baima said it in the chat. Sylvanus is indeed the wild nature, while indeed Shanto is the one of like agriculture.
All right.
Yes. There's a male one for the wild, and there is a female goddess for like agriculture at the moment, because in like
but
the world
agriculture,
of gods,
I think more of like a farmer association, and I don't think of nature as in the nature that I mean,
No.
So
it's Sylvanus.
Yeah, because I was talking about nature. and that one to be severely unhappy and depressed and everything because they can't control shit. And then he have this Lord of Darkness. I control everything. Being a completely happy camper because of it. Everything goes to the way he wants to, and he's happy. I'm just having a couple of scribbles down. I need to have a quick reference for on WotC because I did not prepare for that. Aha! But worry not, I'm pretty close to that. We have water, rotten, damaged wood, please. Thank you, Google. Ooh.
Yes. And maybe good to know for you as well, Sansji, that this is like the first room that is not like it has a floor of water.
Yeah, no, it does not. But maybe moist, damp thing. Salt,
I'm
rot.
Yes, but I was more thinking about like the drawing itself for the rest. That you don't have to draw water this time, at least.
No, would be fun though, but no. This could be interesting too. Copy. Paste. Oh, I have my woody samples. I'm gonna select them. I'm gonna call them wouldn't, because why not? And now I want some stone wall. Oop. Just to have a bit of a color range in terms of who, what, where. Okay, that's the entire canvas, but no worries. We can scale that down.
Yeah.
Whee! Keep it to this. We have some yellow. Oh, I love yellow. Yellow brick wall. Haha. Again, scaling this. It's just for a matter of colors and texture, like how to place what where. Some nice touch to it.
You know, what is interesting for every character that walks into this room, it says that only a successful DC 10 intelligence religion check is needed to see who the image is predicted. I think that's very interesting because that says that those three gods are actually very known about this plane.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily known for player characters. I mean, it's a very particular kind of.
You know, it's an easy check to
Oh, it's an easy check.
Complete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a DC 10. So 10 is like.
Yeah,
even commoners could know that.
Oh, that would be so bad. Like everybody rolls a natural 1 over there, or at least really low. Had that happened before. And you say, oh, it's DC 10, it's easy peasy, they can do this. It's just, even commoners could, perhaps. That's why you're wrong, kiddo. That's why you're wrong.
Yes, that is true. Like, indeed, DC 10, they mostly say it's an easy check. And commoners can do it because, like, there's a 50-50 check that they can roll. Like, a commoner also never has, like, a plus on something. So it is, like, 10 spaces of, like, fail, 10s of success. That's why it's the commoner's check as well. So I think it's very interesting. If you have if you're using this campaign in your own setting and you have a setting that is less with either magic or with religion, please feel free to scale the DC up.
Wow! They found the buttons.
Oh, Yes.
Yeah, maybe you're not hearing it, but I'm hearing it.
No,
Also,
yeah, I
hello.
have, because I'm backstage.
Yes, you are. Otherwise, we'd have an echo. Be a thing right over there.
So, but let's see what we can find about Bane in the current 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. For the ones who don't know, like 5th edition is still a little bit lacking on lore. Most of the things that we know, like it happens in history and stuff, like is from 3rd edition or older. Those are in very interesting lore, so maybe we'll dive into it if we haven't melted away by them.
Yeah, please don't melt.
No, we shouldn't.
Really love this. Copy. Paste.
But yeah.
Boop.
Basic information of Bane is that he is lawful evil, which really makes sense as he is a very strict ruler, like because of the cult of tyranny. Definitely evil, understandable, because like the 5th edition doesn't have that many domains for gods yet. Maybe there's like later on getting more. Bane currently has the domain of war, which I think it's interesting.
Wasn't
I don't know
it
if that should be...
darkness? Oh well, war does go
No.
with tyranny.
Yes, that's true. And his current symbol, which also changed over time and editions.
Yeah,
in 5th
the
edition,
bloop, bloop, bloop. I believe something
it
like
is
that.
yeah, on the moment is the upright black hand with the thumbs and fingers together. It's very simple. In former editions, it has been a black gauntlet. It has been green rays that speech formed from a black fist, reference to words like the battle between Bane and Cyric. So yeah, so that's the basic information of him, and let's see what we can find about it. His nicknames are the Lord of Darkness or the Black Hand. The Black Hand referring, of course, to also its symbol, the Lord of Darkness. I think that's also a little reference to his former the lore editions, but I'm not 100% sure. Definitely the Lord is coming from the tyranny. He is ruling there. He has a very simple ethos. Ethos? I don't know how you pronounce that.
I would have to read the text in order to... The only thing I'm thinking of is apparatus, and maybe I'm a little bit stuck in games at the moment. But...
I think it's another word for philosophy. And that's philosophy is that the strong have not just the right, but the duty to rule over the weak. He is a tyrant who is able to seize power, must do so, for not only does the tyrant benefit, but so does under the tyrant's rule. So I think that's a very interesting philosophy. Not that I agree with it, definitely not. But
No, not everything is agreeable, of course. As for our chat, I did read something over there as well. Some people are quite chatty, or a little bit. As for Landscaper 25, can I be your guest? The reply to that, at the very moment, I'd have to decline because we're busy in our art and talk, but maybe in the future, maybe somewhere. Really depends. Depends on the situation and my schedule. I don't have time for for guest starring everybody on the internet, if you get my drift. Would be nice though.
Sadly.
But yeah, sadly. But yeah, who knows? I'm not gonna shoot it down, so yeah, keep an eye on the Discord, and if you have any other further questions, you can always again hit either Discord or this chat.
Yes, definitely keep in contact with the Discord. I think you're already in it, so that's good. And yeah, maybe we can do some like we lately did because of a holiday. We did a special. That could be an interesting point to do guest stars, but we will think about it anyway. So back to Bane, and who is he in 5th edition?
He kind of reminds me of the Spotter Scratch. I need to put a coin in the Monty Python switch, or I ruined it.
Mm-hmm. But like what you just read is like going for, if you are able to rule, you should do it. That's not like you should. And I think that's very like fits what we just talked about, like that he is like the happy like person. He's sitting there on the throne. He knows that his duty is there, and that he's in the right place.
I don't even think when things go wrong, I think he's even happier because then he gets to do something challenging. Like that's a challenge.
Yeah, that he has to show the weak that he
can go at war. There's like any excuse for him to go at war. Like la 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 la. I'm so happy. You guys are chaotic, and I can clean up your mess because I'm in charge of everything.
Yes, he has this sort of like rule. It's over there. Mm. And it's very interesting that even like in 5th edition, if I'm reading the text, it is sort of mentioning like the older edition, because it literally said Bane is vilified in many legends and throughout history, and then they talk about the history that we have already in our older editions, and like the novels and that kind of stuff all happens in like the older editions as well, because novels are from older date. They're like the lore that we had before the 5th edition came out, which is in the starting 2000s, I believe.
3.5 is the 2000s, I believe. Yeah, could be wrong about that, but just from the top of my head.
So yeah. Bane itself, over all those years and centuries, represents ambition and control, and those who have the former but lack the latter pray to him to give him the strength. It also said that Bane favors those who exhibit drive and courage, and that he aids those who seek to become conquerors, carving kingdoms from the wilderness and bringing order to the lawless.
So yeah, he doesn't perceive himself as a bad guy. In his own world, in his own scapegoat world, he's a good guy, and all of the other deities are just a bunch of, freeloaders who don't do nothing.
Yes, he definitely sees himself as because he says a land without a stern ruler is one of the wrong things you could have.
So yeah, I do want to make his figurine a little more imposing and interesting to behold. And before we even started our stream, I proclaimed he's the least interesting one to draw, and so I took it as a challenge to myself, like, how do I make him interesting? Got to be something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are going to talk about lore, or maybe we can find even more interesting points about him. So, the last thing that's known about him in 5th edition is that the faithful of Bane have been seen as saviors for the Avernus in slaughtering raiders, throwing down corrupt rulers, or saving armies on the brink of defeat. But in even as many times as they are seen as like saviors, they also are seen as cruel dictators.
We have another chatter. So Sanderfell right over here notes that one bit with Bane is that he chooses his portfolio within the pantheon of gods and deities. Naughty, naughty.
Yes.
Well, not really, but it's rare.
But yeah, it also fits this description of tyranny because, like, I'm choosing. I am the one who rules here.
For some reason, I can't not unsee it. The image in my head that dances around. I'm so happy. And he's skipping through a flower field, while letting it rain blood. Obviously winning the battle and war.
Yes, Sander also says if you were the good guy, kind of odd to pick tyranny as part of your portfolio. Yes, that's interesting. Yeah, I think it also just goes with this philosophy that he sees it as a duty to rule over the weak.
Yep. It's a bit stubborn-minded.
No, I think it's the same as, like, somebody can see murder as also, like, not being still being a good guy even if you murder something, is still if you're doing some good in the world. I think it is the same. You can, like, he sees tyranny.
General Kenobi. I have to respond to that one. I can't help it. But yes, indeed, RedOneArt, indeed.
I'm still, though, a little bit confused about the domains versus portfolio kind of thing. I don't know why there are, like, two separate things about that. So any things, like, anyone who can explain that a little bit more in the chat for me, or Sansji, if you have, like, any clues how to explain it.
I just have some wild theories, but nothing concrete, because when it comes down to whole portfolios and the deities and the nitpicking in D&D, I kind of tend to already bend the rules there, and then I grab another book and then some more, and then, like, what's more interesting, and I kind of wing it, to be honest. Unless it's a really interesting story that is really tying up with it makes more sense in my mind for some reason, then I stick with it. But if it doesn't make any sense, like the whole portfolio stuff in combination with, then I'm just gonna either pick one of them or go for something else. I tend to homebrew a lot and change and alter a whole lot of things.
Sansji, do you use domains or portfolios in your homebrew, or both?
Oh no, I ditched the portfolio thing. I kind of go for a domain. If they really want a portfolio, like, this is what I wanna do or something, it's like, it feels to me like they're trying to apply as artists for a particular odd job. Sure, they can try to overthrow a deity with a portfolio like that, but in any other sense of using a portfolio, and even so, like the whole portfolio thing, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never done too much with it, to be honest. And it's never been a point of discussion in any of my campaigns, because I didn't have any players who decided to go fully, heavily religious on their character, so I could get away with a lot.
Yeah, yes, that's helpful. We are, like, you can build it slowly if it's not needed, indeed.
Yeah, and I usually let the player decide on what they want as well. It's like, hey, that's a couple of things, and, you know... Ooh, I'm having some struggles with the post. I'm gonna go blank canvas again.
Okay, someone said a little bit in the chat. They say Bane, Merkel, and Baal's goal was ultimately power. They were originally allied with each other while trying to achieve godhood, and when the god of the end of everything agreed to split up his portfolio for them, each of the three tried to up-one each other. Bhaal thought it was the winner in terms of one-upping. Yes, and indeed, in history, Bhaal is commonly known as one of these, like, the strongest in some ways, not like that if they go up each other like he would win, but more in the amount of power that he has over, like, I think the world, like how much he can how do you say that, like influence he has over the world.
So it's like
that him yes. And I think that's also, like, no, because he is like the god of murder, and I think that's that makes a little bit of his strong aspect. I see Merkel more as like, because of the god of bones, he is like there at the end, the decaying, that we say that he has his own powers. He's more like a passive one, as I sometimes see.
Well, the thing how I just, this is also based on how I see Bane as this happy chat, like happy, and the one of life, like Sylvanus, I believe earlier mentioned in chat, depressed. I see Merkel being the one that's the most charismatic one of them, like really making the best out of his job and guiding people towards the other side, like, well, and gently explaining what's going to happen and not making them feel bad about their death, but actually accepting, like, he helps them accept what has happened. So
yes, and that's a little bit how your like version of Merkel in your homebrew is a little bit different of like the 5th edition, because Callum 4 is like the ferryman in 5th edition. He's the one who's bringing you to the afterlife, while Merkel is more like, I'm there to claim your soul in the end, kind of stuff.
I claim your soul in the end, but you also have to well, from my point of view, that's where you are charismatic, because not all people will understand, like, oh no, they're gonna take my soul, and he'd probably take a wee bit of time to at least explain that part. So I do feel him, see him,
yes, he's
as the most charismatic of those three. I'm not saying he's a good guy, absolutely not.
No, yeah, I actually see, especially when we talked about like the follower that we made, he is the one like that just said that's said like to a woman that just built herself out like pieces and thought she was eventually ugly, that she was beautiful and things. So yeah, he definitely is like the more charismatic. And Sander, yes, the act of murder, he is not really that itself. No, we definitely don't talk about that. He is a god that inspires people to murder, and not murder to gain something out of it, but murder for the sake of murder. A really interesting guy, and that's why like he eventually gets a lot of influence. And I say, like, in a lot of stories, he's like depicted as one of the strongest because of this influence. Because even eventually the followers of like, for example, Bane, are scared of like the followers of Bhaal. That's like literally the point of the whole cultist of Bhaal. In the storyline that we are talking about, like Descent into Avernus, at the moment the three gods are not upping each other. They are working together for once again. And that's why it's causing so much trouble in Baldur's Gate, and that's like the whole quest line that we are now going upon. So yeah, very interesting. If you are interested in like those kind of things and cults, and definitely play this campaign, it's very interesting. And yeah, you can talk about a lot of interesting deities.
Certainly. I have to admit, I'm really having post struggles at the moment, like where to position things, and I'm overthinking it dramatically. And I'm also probably having a bit of a heat stroke going on, if I'm being frank. Oof. Just a little bit of a warning. I am trying to sit this one out, but it is really hot up in the attic.
Yes. Sander, it's not like Baldur's Gate 1, 2, or 3 in the same sort of like the games.
No, we're not
PC
talking about a game.
everything.
We're talking about a campaign, Descent into Avernus.
Yes, the one that you can play as the tabletop role-playing game.
Yes.
With your friends.
As for Bayama, from just reading out loud, from what you understood is that the domain is the group where the portfolio fits inside of it. An example, like loads of deities are part of the nature domain, and they all have their own piece of that domain / portfolio, which only one god can have. Avernus is part of the nature domain, but the wild nature part, not the seasons, which are also not part of the nature domain. Oof. Yeah, they really go in too far with the portfolio act, from my humbled opinion. I am more nitpicky at like, oh hey, here you have a domain, this is nature. So I'm talking about nature as in plants. I'm not talking about agriculture, because I see that more as a beneficial thing for farmers. Also very important deity, so I separate them in their domain, and I really toss the portfolios out of the window. That's my solution. To keep things somewhat more palatable for players, because they're not going to be able to understand Jack, especially if they just started.
To answer Xanderfel's question, sort of in the meaning of terms of events and timelines, this campaign and story takes place in... No, this is already like way after Bhaal's resurrection. The resurrection is while the Bhaal spawns got so strong, the essence was there, Bhaal got resurrections. Indeed, this one is in 1449 DR. It's 50 years after like the companion was being conjured above Elturel. That was in 1444 DR. That was like Elturel was conquered by a vampire lord. There was like a priest of Thorn that prayed, and his answers were like his prayers were answered by a second sun that came upon Elturel. So in Baldur's Gate 3, they definitely talk about Baldur's Gate. I'm not sure if like Baldur's Gate 3 is like right before or after the events with Elturel. I haven't gone into that much of the story of Baldur's Gate 3 yet. So...
Oh, but that's the video game, right? Baldur's Gate 3, Gate 3, pardon me.
But they use a lot of good lore. They are strictly to the timeline, so that's really interesting. So Sanderfels is right with that. That is like somewhere in the timelines we have to see. But I only know the times from like the campaign in the timeline, so I don't know with Baldur's Gate 3. Yes, it's sadly unfit, but the end of August, they are going to launch it. That's like the plan, and I think they will make it. They haven't said they are gonna reschedule it, so I think end of August is still there. And I'm really like, I already played it for like when it just came out. I did the start again and again while they are going to the patches.
Yeah, but please don't hold up too many spoilers about Baldur's Gate the games, because
no.
I want to play it and I won't play it. I know myself if I got too many spoilers.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything. No, I am just gonna. The only thing that I'm going to say is that I started
spoilers that we agreed upon. Please,
yeah.
Thank you.
No, I just started that one so many times already that I'm now waiting until it's finished to start again, because I know there's things coming out again more and more, but I will now wait until the full story. I haven't played Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, so I can't say my personal preference. But Sander, if you would choose 1 or 2, if I should start now with 1, which do you say? Should I do first 1 because of the Chronicle timeline, or 2 because of like it's a better game? Very interesting that. definitely one for the story. Okay, good to know. So yeah, for the timeline's sake for you, not 100% sure if Baldur's Gate 3 is like set after or before the events of Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. I definitely know that this is after Bhaal's resurrection. So Bhaal is alive again, and he's now working with the Dead Tree to get their influence back in Baldur's Gate. There's a lot going on in Baldur's Gate 3, Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. Not only that those are back with their influence, but like a lot. In the beginning, we talked about the flood of refugees that are coming to Baldur's Gate. That talk about that Elturel just disappeared. That the companion that was above there was just going black, and just everything disappeared.
Alright, you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and we are now into for Sander. If you, I don't know if you ever seen one of the You're definitely a first-time streamer, or like a chatter.
You mean Sanderfell?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was really stuck in this drawing. Could you repeat that again?
Oh, if like Sanderfell was already like watching some of our TTRPG Art Talks.
Well, but why not ask them? Really?
Yeah, have you been? I definitely, from remembering the name, you haven't chat before.
It's like I'm in between. Like I want to say yes, but oh, this gives way to how many times I actually keep an eye on the chat. Oops.
Yeah. For a little bit of information, if Sanderfell didn't watch your stream yet, we are going through Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, which is a campaign that you can play at your table with your friends, or online, of course, doesn't matter, both of the ways. And we're going through the campaign, and we are drawing everything that you could need as either a player or like dungeon master. It's not
well, it's not necessarily need, but want, like things you want.
Yes.
More of a wanna. I wanna.
Yes.
There's the art. And rather than making it too difficult to look online and stuff, like you find it here.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we searched actually for a depiction of Bane in the 5th edition, and it's never.
I tried, but that was for 5 minutes, so I didn't try hard enough.
No, but I was also searching, and it's really hard. You see the depiction of the older versions, the 3rd edition, but yeah. Yeah, and by the way, welcome to our channel, because I can see that you are new. Really nice to see you. We are definitely love your input. So we are streaming every Monday, same time, and we are talking about this campaign, and we are continuing with drawing stuff that you can use in your own games, either if you are going to use it in this campaign or just want to have some nice art that can influence your own dungeons, your NPCs or anything. That's what we are doing. Today we are drawing one of the 3 doors that you can find into the Dungeon of the Dead Tree. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working on some of the sketchy part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna have a complete door, but
you know, we are seeing how far we can come in like 1 hour. That's always the goal.
How far we can get, indeed. That's the thing. Considering weather and all of the horizontal blaze. Yes.
And maybe you like the people like can bring back this piece if they want in another special. Always an option.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
The reference is right over here.
Oh, that's actually a very good introduction, Sander. Do you actually prefer to call it Sander or Sanderfeld? Do you or don't you matter? We'll definitely keep that in mind. Really nice that you developed your own TTRPG. Has it already have a name, or is it still in developing?
So, by the way, that's really awesome indeed. I'm just going to commend that as well. Maybe you haven't heard of it, maybe you have, but together with the guys from my graduation party, we're working on Void, which is also our very own tabletop roleplay game. Haha, small world. In terms of people being busy. Love it, I love the energy.
Yes, I love people who develop things for like TTRPGs.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Are interesting to talk to. Actually, with such like many years of experience, at which edition did you start Dungeons and Dragons? Did you start
a decade
like
ago? Nice.
Because I know like, definitely like 5th edition wasn't out 20 years ago. You definitely should have at least started with an either another. Like he said, it's with Dungeons and Dragons campaign with 20 years, so definitely an older edition. Second, yes. Okay, and then move to 5th edition. Okay, so for me personally, a little bit more of information. I started with 5th edition. So most lore and things that we're going to talk about are probably from 5th edition. But I'm very interested in lore, and I know that 5th edition is still lacking a lot of that. So yeah, I sometimes pick older editions. I have a lot of 3rd and 3.5 edition books that I use, and I'm expanding my collection. So I do start to have like some of the 2nd edition, but not much.
Oh, that's nice. I started at 3.5. Let me figure out some of the music. It's still playing. It could be that 2 is seen as more of the most complicated of I did hear some complaints about it. There's also people who told me like we don't talk about edition number 2. Oh, that's something to be said about every edition, I guess. And it really depends on the edition that you kind of start with, because for you that will be ultimately nostalgia in the far-fetched future. Who knows what we will be playing in the future as well. And then we're gonna reminisce about 5th edition as well. In a certain way.
Yes.
So, yes, lo and behold.
Oh, yeah, I was asking about, you told me, like, in your introduction that you're developing your own TTRPG, and I was really wondering if it already had a name, like, or if it's still in developing.
Yeah, and this has been asked for Sander.
Yes.
The awesome epic samurai character. Oh, blimey.
Ooh, ruins of. Oh, and I'm really bit terrible with pronouncing names.
Azeris.
Azeris. Okay, yeah.
I think
thank you,
I'm just winging it because it could be Azeris or Azeris or Aziris. I see multiple gateways, and I just went for
Okay.
Azeris.
Thank you for yes, that helps.
Yeah, Azeris. All right. Could still be pronouncing it utterly wrong, but that is just a matter of speech, and yes. I'm not inclined to improve on that. Maybe over time.
Same. As a native of the Netherlands, pronunciation in English sometimes is difficult.
I'd say for me personally, it depends. It really depends.
Yes.
I do love to try, and if I really don't know it, then I stop practicing. Like Sahuagin, I know how to pronounce it right now. I had to practice quite a few times to get that one done correctly.
Yes, and I'm really loving that. Like, I think it's Roll20 that they have now this. Oh no, we're D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond.
It has those. The little button that you can click on that you have like the text written out loud, at least from the names. Oh, that's so helpful.
This. Ah, it's the name of the planet. Nice.
Yeah. Hi. I'm wondering, is it like because it's a TTRPG, but is it like fantasy based, like Dungeons and Dragons, or is it more sci-fi based, like Starfinder?
Warcraft 40K, Warhammer.
Oh, Warhammer 40. Yes, that would be. Or maybe even more gothic. It's a mix, yeah. Okay. Nice. Yes, they are trying to do it now a little bit more Dungeons and Dragons as well, with like bring Spelljammer into it. Don't know if a lot of people use it yet, but I think because that's Dungeons and Dragons started out as a fantasy, and it's like strong on that base, and I think you either like should start with a strong base, like having this combination, or not. Otherwise, it's not picking up quite as much as you would.
I disagree with that one, but that's me. No, I'm not agreeing.
Yeah, that's like maybe my own observations, but I think Spelljammer is like it from itself. It's a strong, nice campaign, but I don't think a lot of campaigns use it.
It's how I see Spelljammer. Oh, that's a different cupcake. It's really nice, and I see it as something that you should run as a campaign. I see it as the characters from that campaign aren't compatible with other settings yet. You'd either have to buff or nerf other player characters around to make things more palatable or playable and keep things balanced. But that's a bit of my cupcake about Spelljammer.
Yes, so that's what I was meaning.
Yeah, true. No, I thought that you were just more talking about in general, as in the different sci-fi, the whole fantasy, the mixture that D&D is trying to go for.
Oh no, like I was meaning like they are trying to push Spelljammer onto the base that they now have from Dungeons and Dragons and the Feral Room setting, and I think that's not totally working because what you said, it needs a lot of adjustments to work in the setting.
Well, nothing is perfect at first, so I would give them a shot. Like, but there's some stuff that they need to rework or work on if they want to make things more, compatible. Or and then again, it's still up to the DM who runs the game and the players. Like, that they decide about. Like, hey, we've come to notice that this quite, for example, quite overpowered or not, or maybe like underpowered. Like, what do we do about it? And it all depends on the table.
And yes, Baima, we are indeed talking about the gifts.
Oh, absolutely. Gifts are monstrously overpowered.
Yes. But I will maybe kill your character off in a few sessions.
No,
we don't know.
There was a lot of effort done into that one. No.
No, I won't.
No, the one solution. Actually, I do have one solution for you, and I think you already know that. You have to buff all of the other characters. Give them a good buff, and then it's more than okay. Then you can throw in the stronger enemies too, so it keeps things interesting. You keep it raining.
I'm actually very interesting about the part that I actually got to damage him in the last few sessions. So.
Oh, that was a thing. Yeah, I remember. You were so happy. I finally got to damage my player. Haha.
Yeah, even the monster, the NPC, the humanoid that did that was very surprised. And indeed, yeah, the most strong about the gift is the ranger fighter part. So, and what Thunder said, indeed, there are more different era timelines that are being used with Dungeons and Dragons and other things, because indeed, it has a time gap. Yeah, I indeed agree with your changing some things with Dungeons and Dragons and your own TTRPG after their CGL thing that they did. So it's good that you thought about that. I think it's now neutral ground again. So, but we will see how long that works out.
Yeah, we just gotta wait and see and what happens, and maybe we even get some tickets written up our corner because you're doing some stuff for Descent into Avernus without ever contacting us. Oh yeah, oops. But it's for joy.
Yes.
It's for fun. It's not that we're earning pockets over here. It's just more of a love project, I guess.
When I see there's still 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, still 2 minutes. I'm just, color picking, grabbing a little color over here. Oh, that looks moldy. Just gonna jam that into the door. But yeah, and I do have to make the door a wee bit darker here, there, and make sure that it's more ingrained, that we have more of an understanding that it's one part and not just slapped on top of one another. That this isn't one big piece that's being carved out. And I want to hold a morning star. Maybe I have to up him a little bit so I have his feet on the door too, but I'm gonna leave that up for imagination, and next time perhaps.
Yes. But at least, Sander, you're very thankful that you talked about your TTRPG as well. It's nice to see people talk about their passion, their things that they do.
Also, I really love it that you just mentioned if D&D and Doom had a baby. That's nice. I love it. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I'm a little bit less familiar with Doom, so for me that's harder to imagine.
Doom guy. Oh, I'm sorry, hyped. But yeah, continue on.
Yeah. But indeed, I can indeed also imagine the hype from that.
Yeah, it doesn't help that I just bought a couple of of their games for the PC. Did that. Kinda late to the whole Doom party, but I've been listening to their music for quite some time. Yeah, I will figure out that. Oops. figure that part out later on.
Yes, we can later work with the sides of the walls. So.
Yeah, if need be, if I'm even gonna go to at that point. I mean, we have Bane, the Lord of Pain, I would say. I'm just gonna read chat in a bit. So originally Yuwu was like 8 supercontinents, and you have to think of each continent as big as Europe to China. Ooh, must be some super large world. Then when Vasaroth took over the world, he merged the continents into 2 mega continents. Wow, I can only imagine that's dapper. Pretty much. Maybe a wee bit more. I'm almost thinking... I want to say Jupiter. Jupiter is one of my favorite planets.
Yes, yeah, I think Sander said that like in the beginning of his explanation that we had to think... See, yeah, his world is Jupiter-sized Earth.
Haha! Nice, good one. Don't forget to save the file. Bloop, save.
Yes.
If I didn't, I'd have issues. But yeah.
Yeah, always make sure it's nicely saved.
Huge is an understatement. It is. It's gargantuan. D&D terms of large, medium. Sometimes I get bamboozled and I just say huge out of... Like an elephant. What's an elephant? An elephant is huge. Can't escape that one.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes because when you say large, we think about like something which is bigger than we are, but that like large in the sense that of huge. But for they have like a whole category like that is large, and right before like huge, it's even more.
Yeah, and I would also want to say that Colossal would also be a thing. Like, you have Gargantuan, but Colossal is apparently not a thing in 5th. I quickly noticed. So yeah, I kind of lost a couple of in-between stats. Anywho, thank you for viewing and watching tonight. We're gonna see if there's some people whom we can raid. And... if someone's working on art, I'm going to see if this person is drawing something cute. I think they are. So we're gonna go rate this person. They're drawing a chibi, something very cute. And so yeah, we're gonna go head
next time we're either gonna do Bhaal of Merkel. So if you're interested in talking about one of those, definitely join in next week.
Yes, sirree. I'm gonna start the rate. Oh, I did not mean to unraid. I'm sorry.
Oh, and then there's story that we can talk more about your thing, but come back next time and we will talk more.
Yeah. All right.